Alright, you guys, so like I said yesterday, the time to cast judgment on the SpongeBob spinoff, SpongeBob Camp Coral, SpongeBob's Underyears, has at last arrived. And I can tell you from watching the first episode on YouTube, that, that that episode 1 of Camp Coral actually wasn't all that half bad. So 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 what goes down is uh it 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 it's another day at Camp Coral, and SpongeBob wakes up bound and more determined than ever to finally catch his first jellyfish, because today, Mr. Tentacles, that Squidward as the camp counselor, by the way, is finally taking SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, and some of the rest of the other campers that Mr. Squidward is responsible for to Jelly Meadows for the first day of jellyfishing season. SpongeBob is absolutely so excited that 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 he basically gets Patrick up out of his bunk super early and basically runs around the camp all happy, well, in SpongeBob typical fashion. He's even alright with eating Plankton's fry cooked slop, which Plankton is forced to call it slop because he can't use the real word to describe what he really thinks about the food to children. And basically, guys, the main problem of the episode is first of all, things keep hindering camp counselor Squidward from blowing the whistle that is going to finally allow SpongeBob to finally engage on jellyfishing from one of those things is Patrick keeps coming up with excuses that he's gotta go to the bathroom, or left his net in the little starfish's room, and even that he left the stove on in the cabin rather, excuse me. And then SpongeBob even has to remind him, Patrick, we don't even have a stove in the cabin. And then Squidward finally like, now, if there are no more interruptions, is everybody ready? And just when SpongeBob is finally going to be set free to begin singing the to begin the first day of jellyfishing, Squidward had to tell SpongeBob that he received a surprise call from his mommy, and this announcement is delivered by none other than everybody's favorite young reporter, Perch Perkins. And then SpongeBob decides to say forget it, and basically destroys Camp Coral, basically trying to catch 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 a jellyfish while talking to Mrs. SquarePants. And the messed up thing, guys, is not only can SpongeBob absolutely not catch a jellyfish at all by this point. In fact, even Patrick's jellyfishing skills are better than SpongeBob's in this episode. But yes, guys, SpongeBob literally tries and fails to catch a jellyfish, all while talking to Mrs. SquarePants on the phone. And the one thing his mom wanted to ask SpongeBob is, ha, ha, have, have you caught a jellyfish yet? So all this chaos ensues because Mrs. SquarePants wanted to ask SpongeBob the one question that he's actually trying to achieve right now. And so after SpongeBob has basically caused chaos and has disrupted Squidward's peace and made this 22 minutes of his life be filled with misery again. Camp Counselor Squidward forces SpongeBob to 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 go into a jellyfish hive, kind of as a cruel joke to kind of get some peace. But SpongeBob accidentally ends up getting massively stung by the jellyfish, of course, and so Sandy and Patrick basically ask Squidward to basically paint himself like a jellyfish, and they basically convince Squidward to do this, but by telling him instead of pretending to be a jellyfish and making it up to SpongeBob for basically stinging the daylights out of him and making him break out in hives. This is a chance to show off his genius ballet dancing skills and the fact that he's the best dancer in camp. And so Squidward agrees to do it, but as SpongeBob tries to capture Squidward, and again making this 22 minutes of his life be filled with misery, SpongeBob and Squidward accidentally end up waking up this weird rock monster thing, and after some creative thinking by Sandy, who by the way I hate even more in this new Camp Coral version, but she's basically able to save them both from the monster. And while SpongeBob's goal of catching a jellyfish still didn't happen in this episode, and while he didn't earn his jellyfishing badge from a camp master, Mr. Eugene Krabs. I'm sorry I keep saying everybody's name weird, guys. SpongeBob does earn from Mr. Krabs, saving his camp master from a monster badge. And before all this happens, SpongeBob spends the morning at the camp, basically uh, annoying everybody with his extensive knowledge about jellyfish, and annoying Mrs. Puff like always. So, so yeah, guys. At the end of the day, I personally did get a lot of laughs from SpongeBob Camp Coral episode 1. However, this episode review comes from Paramount Plus deciding to be nice to everybody by uploading the full half-hour series premiere episode to their YouTube channel. And but and by the way, like I said in previous reviews, Camp Coral and SpongeBob's antics in all this basically did remind me of Camp Lazlo, except with SpongeBob.